Hello and welcome to the OK Takes podcast. I am Matt, and as always, I'm joined by my fellow capo Edward. As of 11:14 a.m. West Coast time, last night wasn't pretty. It was a bad game against the Suns, blown out. But I don't know if the Lakers are bad or if they're just getting face fucked because of COVID. So we're going to get into the Suns game. Then after that, we're going to talk some DeAndre Jordan. It's been awful. The Anthony Davis injury is killing us, so we'll touch on that. And now we're just pretty much going to sign every G League god in sight. And it's going to start with Jamario Jones and Mason Jones. Speaking of G League gods, we signed Isaiah Thomas after he dropped 42 one game. And we're going to touch on the Bulls game a little. And there was a quote from Russ after last night's loss to the Suns saying the Lakers need to stay positive, and that's going to give it time. But we're going to answer the question of at what point should we be worried? Okay, start Suns game. I wanted to start off this discussion by talking about a quote from interim head coach David Fizdale. Vogel's not there. Handy's not there because of COVID. All right. So the quote from David Fizdale was, a lot of these guys were a lone star or a star next to a guy and had a bunch of role players doing all this crap for them. And I feel like that's perfect that's a perfect quote for where the Lakers are and what they need to do. And I'm glad Fizdale is providing some accountability.
Yeah, I'm glad he said that. I think a lot of guys on this team, LeBron, Westbrook, need to hear something like that. So maybe that will kind of be a slap in the face to them. But I feel like we've been saying that all season. This is going to be the slap in the face. This is going to be what wakes them up. Oh, this moment's going to be what turns it around. This quote's going to light a fire under them, and it never happened. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm ready to get this quote signed and framed in the locker room by Fizdale. I think this should be next to something from Chick Hearn or Kobe.
It should be like the Notre Dame thing where you have to tap it on the way out.
Exactly. Play like a janitor today.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, because that's what we need. And to be fair, this is the way the lineup was constructed, because there's not many janitor kind of scrappy guys like a Caruso, and those guys that are that role, like a Reeves and Malik Monk and Avery Bradley. All those guys are out with COVID. So once again, I pose the question, are the Lakers bad, or is this just related to COVID? Yes and no. What we do know is that we're going to need Melo and DeAndre Jordan and Westbrook to start getting very scrappy. And it's not something they've done their entire career. So it is going to take some adjusting, and it's not going to happen overnight, but we need it to happen overnight.
Yeah, it's almost like, when you switch a team, you should have to adapt to the play style of the team you switch to. Like, that kind of seems like a no-brainer for some of these guys, and they haven't really gotten that in their head yet.
But it's also like in something related to like how much energy do you want to expend? Because for Russ, if you're going hard if you're going crazy for rebounds and being the main rebounder, and that's where we're at because no AD and they're playing with a really small lineup, well, then it's going to take away from those crazy bursts we love going to the rim. And LeBron falls in that same category of guys who go crazy 0 to 100 to the rim, but then they're not going to be able to have as much energy for that if they're going crazy for rebounds.
Yeah, but you need to rebound the basketball to score the basketball and to win games. And that, LeBron and Westbrook go 100% their whole career. And I know you get older and father time is undefeated, but I think they have some room to put some of their energy and effort into defense and rebounding and things along those lines.
We want it to happen overnight. I just don't think it's going to happen overnight. And trust me, nobody more than me wants this team to start getting some boards and crashing the glass. It's been so goddamn bad. So during the 3-game losing streak following the crazy buzzer beater against the Mavs from Austin Reeves, the offensive rebound differential is -23.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And it wasn't that bad last night. There wasn't like this was a lot of that stat. I'll be honest, I kind of cherry picked a little. It was from the Timberwolves game.
Oh, well, yeah, Cat was unbelievable in that game.
Mm-hmm. But we do see the Lakers getting out rebounded 53-46. Not that big of a deal. But you're gonna have to, like, when you have a team that's missing a center, you're gonna suffer in that stat, but you're gonna have to make up for it with shooting. And then the Lakers shot 20% from three, so now we're fucked. That's kind of how it felt.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer in, well, 3-point shooting is probably the most important aspect of basketball today, but I'm a big believer that behind that it's rebounding. So when I see my team do neither very well, it's really frustrating, just because personally I think that 3-point shooting and rebounding are the most important facets of the basketball game. So yes, I think they really need to improve on their rebounding. And yeah, if you do the three and you can't rebound the ball, you can't expect to win.
But that's the problem, is that we're saying we're going to go with the smaller lineup, and we'll be able to make up for that because we'll have more shooters on the floor. Doesn't really look like that. And at least I do want to start getting into the Suns game, because last night there was a chance, and when it came time to hit threes to put them ahead, they weren't doing it. And it was a close game. At halftime, it was 54-52. And there was a lot of spurts during the first half. And especially in the first quarter, they jumped out to a 16-6 lead, where you're like, okay, the Lakers do have a chance. They do have a chance.
Yeah, no, the score line doesn't really do at least the first half justice. The Lakers were in the first half, but I feel like I sound like a broken record again, because third quarter get outscored by 10, 31-21, I think, and then fourth quarter got outscored by like 6 or 7, so got outplayed in the second half. But yeah, it's a good first half. I do have to say they were right there, just couldn't come through when we needed to in the third or fourth.
And I do wonder if the way the lineup's constructed is this because guys are getting tired? Because first, I mean, Jesus Christ, like LeBron came out screaming, and he was firing. Westbrook had straight like a cinder block on the gas pedal driving to the rim, and he had some great scores. And we're seeing that energy that we love and we'll give an arm and a leg for. But then I wonder how much of that starts to regress once guys just don't have that same burst.
Yeah. I mean, LeBron and Russ were awesome. Without them, I think we would have lost by like 50. But it's really frustrating to look at Talen Horton-Tucker and Isaiah Thomas going a combined 2 for 24 and playing 31 and 20 respectfully. So it's why would that was just shocking to me that they were playing so poorly and got so many minutes. And it just, that, like we said, that's a factor of COVID, not having our full rotation, or is that just these good and we may have jumped the gun on them too early?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I have a THT take I wanted to get off. So this is his first game back from COVID, and it was like literally his first day outside of his hotel, I think. And I can't imagine how hard it is to literally go from 0 to 100, where all you could do is like watch daytime television, get a little Ellen in, maybe some Love It or List It here on like HGTV, and then order like just Uber Eats, and then boom, you're back playing like 30-ish minutes. So to combat that, I think we should get each player on the Lakers one of those rims that you put on your door, like the little mini ones. I think we should get them one of those so they can still practice, get their hoops.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's a fair point to the COVID positive for THT. He wasn't. So it's hard to make that excuse for him, but also it's not. Like, I'm torn. I'm like, yeah, he just came back from COVID. I can cut him some slack. But then I look back at the games before that, and I'm like, he was really struggling. So I don't know where I land on THT right now. There's still room for growth. So,
and it is tough because they want him to shoot, but we know, and I think we have maybe enough of a sample size to say, let THT kind of play how LeBron plays, play how Westbrook plays, where it's crazy drives to the rim and he has space to operate. And he's just, I just think they're trying to turn him into something he's not.
Definitely. Yeah, I get that from them as well.
They're like trying to make a plumber figure out how to become a mechanic. Yes, they both those occupations use tools, but one of them is toilets and the other is a Jeep.
Yeah, it's just you're getting a little too far away from the comfort zone. I'm all for stepping out of your comfort zone as a player, but maybe not as far as we're trying to take THT.
Yeah, as a human as well. I've never been that much of a sushi fan. I had sushi earlier this week. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, see, I'm out on sushi.
But see, we never know. We never know what might be in our comfort zone that we don't know is actually in our uncomfortable zone. But like it's I think it's too much of a transition. I think THT should get maybe 2 to 3 threes a game. I don't think he should be relied upon that. And it's just really frustrating because a lot of this goes back to the way the lineup was constructed.
Yeah, I mean, lineup construction is one thing that I will give a pass with COVID. Like when you're missing key rotational guys, you're missing your head coach, I can let lineup construction slide. I don't know if you're the same way, but when there's COVID, I can let it slide.
I think, right. I mean, because Jesus Christ, this is one of the weirdest times to be in just the history of humanity. So I understand some of it, but I think it does go back to the offseason. That's more what I mean by lineup construction is what happened during the summer.
So you mean like overall roster?
Yeah, yeah, excuse me. I should have said roster instead of lineup. That is my frustration is that the way it was built maybe wasn't meant to work out. And there was a lot of, I mean, that's kind of a classic thing of you look at the resume, oh my God, all these MVPs, all these NBA first teams. And we're still grabbing for straws when trying to think of something positive happening for the Lakers come spring.
Well, I've said in pods past, I think we overcorrected in terms of our roster construction. Last year, we were a great defensive team, but couldn't shoot to save our lives. And now this year this offseason, we added what we thought was going to be amazing 3-point shooting. And we are lacking defensive specialists. So I don't know what it's going to take at the trade deadline. Are we going to make a move? Probably. Is it going to work? I don't know. But yes, I do think the roster construction was poor. And
I guess the reason why I'm just I don't know, it's kind of been boiling for a while, but now it's kind of just rose to the surface is seeing what happened with the third quarter. Because the Lakers, like I said before, it was 54-52 at the half. And then the Suns went on 11-2 run to open up the third quarter. And after that, it just was never the same. And I think that's why you need some young energy. But Austin Reeves is out. It's kind of hard. We're just gonna go back and forth who's on first with this because we're gonna say something and then it's gonna be COVID. But for the most part, we need some form of energy, just some ball of lightning to get us back into games where we just get blown out in just random spurts, like 11-2 run, and boom. And after that, Melo gets ejected. After that, LeBron rolls his ankle. And all of a sudden, we're like, holy, did we just beat like possibly the front runner for the NBA Finals? Oh no, it's just going to be a 20-point loss.
I wonder why it is that we struggle with the third quarter so much. Like, what do we do at halftime?
Dude, a body in motion stays in motion. It's just the law of physics.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never taken class, so that wouldn't really hit with me. But I just like, do they go in the locker room at halftime and just smoke? Like, because that's like I don't get it.
I mean, LeBron did show up to the game with a cigar in his hand.
Yeah, he did. That would check out.
But no, I do think some of it has to be inertia. Like, when is the worst you feel when you wait, or worst you feel during the day? When you wake up. my body's just frozen overnight, like I'm Captain America.
Yeah.
And then so just everything I just loose, and it just takes me like pretty much my whole day is just getting loose with joints and everything. And then it's time to go to bed, and then the process starts again. But it's the worst in the morning because I haven't moved. I think some of that has to be stiffness, and I'm just going to credit it to them being old.
Yeah, fair. Fair. So clearly what needs to happen is if the Lakers aren't winning by like 15 or more at halftime, then they're probably not going to win the game.
Kind of appears that way. It does feel that way. I just don't sense comeback energy. It feels like they're down, they're going to stay down. We have some games here and there, it's seldom of where they've come back. But when you see a team just start a half when they're down, like start a second half and down like this, but it's like not a bad lead. I mean, there is a lot of spurts where it was like 8 to 10 points, which is you're only 4 or 5 shots away from them being on top and then a possession. But the ability to string those together and get back in, especially against a good team, it's not there.
No, it's not there. And when they go down, like when the Lakers are losing, I feel like there's no fight to get back. Like we've seen comebacks, but like against like the Kings, like, you know, we've seen comebacks against teams where it's like anyone could come back on them. I feel like Pistons, yeah, against like the Suns or the Warriors, for example. Like I feel like if we go down against a team like that, there's just no fight.
No, you're permanently in your grave. There's no zombie.
Yeah.
It's just killing us. And then because that was the frustrating part of it. So back to the game during the first half, it was close because let's be honest, the Suns weren't making any of their shots from three, and there was a lot of wide open shots. And the Suns, but during those times where the Suns, it's a brick from McCall Bridges, a brick from Cam Johnson. Like you have to take advantage of those spurts. Brick from Jay Crowder, because the Suns shot 8% lower than their season average. During the season, they're averaging 37% from beyond the arc. And then yesterday it was 29%. And a lot of those misses came within the first half. And that's the reason why it was so low. But when when the team just cannot hit anything, when there's like a football field between them and the defender, you have to take advantage. Lakers didn't take advantage.
Yep. Like, yeah, when a team is shooting as poorly as the Suns shot, like it doesn't take much to get out in front of that team. You know what I mean? Like if they're shooting 20% from three, you would think all the Lakers would have to do was shoot 30 and we'd be in front by double digits, you know, like, and we just couldn't take advantage of it.
I mean, they went 3 of 22 from beyond the arc to start the game.
Yeah, you've got to step on the throat of a team doing that. If 3-point shooting is so crucial in today's NBA, which it is, and a team starts out 3 for 22, you should be able to bury them.
Yeah. And they just weren't able to grab the shovels and put them in a hole.
Nope.
No. All right. And then, so I do want to start moving on. Oh, sorry. Last note from the game. Rondo had a minus 26 plus minus, which is just hilarious. I think at this point, just coach, dude. Just coach. If you have your iPad in your hand for, I don't know, 48 or 48 minutes when the game is being played, just know you're already there. You're already pretty much being a coach. And personally, I would rather tell people what to do than do it myself.
Yes. Yeah. He needs to go.
Because he wants to coach. You're doing it. Like he was even in like one of the G League, with the South Bay Lakers leading a practice with like Kent Bazemore and Trevor Ariza. Just coach. Yeah. It's okay. hang up your shoes. Like nobody will be mad at you.
Yeah. You'll get in the Hall of Fame. We're not going to just do it. Just hang up the jersey, man.
Because now it's like the second go around where he's killed the Lakers.
Yep. Just need him gone.
Yeah,
don't coach for the Lakers. Coach for someone else, please.
I would be interested to see how the Rondo coaching experiment goes. Because it feels like he's working double overtime to make up for Jared Dudley not being on the team now.
Yeah. He's the Jared Dudley of this year.
Yeah, it's too much. And I wonder at what point is there going to be like a too many cooks in the kitchen scenario?
Oh, I think it already is.
So yeah, why don't and at this point, dude, you're coaching so much, you might as well just start answering questions during pressers.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't let Frank Vogel do it.
Yeah.
Just let him be the spokesperson.
Mm. Yeah. Just or at this point, just be Frank Vogel's mouthpiece. All right. And then let's go to some DeAndre Jordan. Jesus Christ. So in the month of December, DeAndre Jordan's plus minus is minus 42. I don't know, like lineup or roster construction. I don't know what the hell the signing was. This has to go down as one of the worst in Lakers history. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. It's one. I would no. Never mind. I'm going to take that back. It's one of the most frustrating Lakers history. There's been some bad ones, but this one, it's just why did we sign a guy and we're not even going to play? Like we barely play him because he's unplayable. He is yet to play 25 minutes or more this entire season.
I was gonna say, does he border on Roy Hibbert, Timothy Mozgov territory yet?
If you took the worst of both of those guys and put into a human who can kind of dunk, does some cool dunks, that would be him.
Yeah, it's been a bad experiment, and I don't know when it's gonna end, if it's gonna end, but I want it to end.
Oh my God. There has to be, that's the thing though, is that there has to be somebody in the G League who could at least play defense, because DeAndre Jordan offers us nothing on defense. And that's why his plus minus yesterday was minus 26, is because it's just blow by central and he can't compete.
No.
If it's just barbecue chicken every time a guard sees him around the rim.
Yeah. It's just age again also. Like he's just up there
old
now.
And
yeah.
I'm not going to, so it's not like I don't have any problem with DeAndre Jordan. I think he can't help it.
You think he can't help or can help?
He can't help it. He's just too old. He honestly, Father Time has him looking like Frank Gore.
Oh yeah, Father Time won that by a country mile.
Handily. Very easy. So I'm not going to get mad at a guy because obviously it's like getting mad at somebody for having liver cancer. A little dark, but it's like you kind of, some of it you can kind of control if you were an alcoholic, but some of it it's just bad. I don't know what it is. Wow, you know what? Can we rewind that? Yeah. DeAndre Jordan is like if you rolled your ankle. You can't get mad at somebody for rolling their ankle and they go on a hike, but you kind of get mad at them because you should have been looking where you're walking. I think that's a little bit more calm.
That's better.
Yeah, it's just so bad. He's so bad. I don't really care at this point if you could, because like we managed fine with Marc Gasol last year, and he averaged less than like around like 7 or 8, less than 10 a game. But the defense has to be there. The rebounding has to be there, and we are not getting that from him. And I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they signed him. Definitely should not get any more minutes.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't. Yeah, they were thinking, because what DeAndre Jordan I think needs around him is a shooter, like a power forward, a stretch 4, and Anthony Davis is not a stretch 4. I don't care what anybody says, he's not a stretch 4. So if they planned on signing DJ to start him next to AD, that was not smart. And then we don't really have a stretch 4 on our bench either. So, I mean, I guess Melo, but he's not. I still don't look at him as a 4.
No.
He's a 3 in my opinion. But just don't know what the reasoning was for it.
Oh, so bad. It's just he's only put up double-digit rebounds twice. He did that in back-to-back games back in October, I think. It's just everything we need from a center right now. He's just not a janitor.
Nope.
He's not a janitor.
He's not.
I think we found our first little shtick of the podcast. Janitors.
Yeah.
Be a janitor.
Yes.
Do the dirty work. Yeah, he's just
janitors have great careers in the NBA. Mm-hmm. If you can be a janitor, you can make it.
And if you work at an Ivy League or really high up school and you see a math equation on a board and you solve it, you could get yourself a good job.
I was waiting for you to for someone to take it to Goodwill Hunting.
It was about time. I was waiting for the right moment, and I'm glad I waited.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
Hmm.
what a movie that is.
Amazing. Yeah. All right. Enough DeAndre Jordan talk. Let's get into Anthony Davis injury. So got hurt against the Timberwolves, and it was one of the saddest things I've ever seen, because this wasn't a really bad play where it was like, oh my God, like it makes you tense up when you see it and shocks you. Kind of like we were talking about with the Teddy Bridgewater injury the other day. He just crumpled. The guy fell into him from the Timberwolves, and he just crumpled.
I'm sure I've already made this joke, so it's probably not going to land this time. But Anthony Davis just is the guy from SpongeBob
Mhm.
with who, or the guy who pretends like he has glass bones, and every day he wakes up and he breaks his arms and legs.
No, I'll be honest, it lands, but I think I've seen it at least 3 million times on Twitter. And we've made that a bunch of times. And it's just
There's no other way to put it. There's
There-
no
there-
other way to put it. For our
Mhm.
generation, there's no other comparison for it. Like for our age of people, that's the first thing you think of when you think of someone who's injury prone. Your mind goes straight to that guy from SpongeBob.
you can't
There's
think
no
of
other
any-
way to put it.
Mhm. And now it's like I can't watch SpongeBob without thinking about Anthony Davis. So now, yeah, I would say it works both ways.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so frustrating. He's so fragile, and like I don't understand. Like I think oh no, I can't say that. I was gonna say a take that might have.
Okay, we'll say I was going to, but I'm glad I didn't. So what were you going to say and say it? But now you can say, well, I wasn't going to say that, even though you're saying it.
Okay. I was going to say that we may have seen one good year of Anthony Davis as a Laker when he won the title. And now it's just going to be like Pelicans AD, who gets hurt every year, only plays 40 games, playoffs, but it's too little too late.
Okay. Well,
But
also
I'm not saying that though.
it was like, yeah, you put like 2 columns on. You said I wasn't going to say it, but maybe.
Yeah, that may be what's happened here with AD.
You added an extra sheath on your sword.
Yes.
It really does feel like that. I'm kind of done. I'm starting to enter, and it's bad territory. I'm starting to enter in the done territory with Anthony Davis because of how that injury. I mean, just seeing him crumble. I mean, that happens to a center like what, 2 or 3 times a game, at least, if not then a week, where a guy just kind of falls into you. And it wasn't a Haas. Like, this isn't like a Roy Hibbert. This isn't like Jokic rolling into like a bowling ball. He just fall over like a pin.
Yeah,
That's what scares me. And why are we seeing the regression in his stats? It's because he can't be as physical because of the injury component. So it's like, if I just don't know where he's going, because the next step for him is just to become KD. If he plays like KD, he'll be fine, but there's only one KD.
Yeah. Everybody says, what could Greg Oden have been without his injury? And, what would Derrick Rose have been without his injury? But I'm starting to get there with Anthony Davis. Like, what could Anthony Davis's whole career, like if you look at his whole career and how he played in New Orleans, and he was injury prone in New Orleans, then he came and had a year with the bubble, everything, where didn't have any injuries. He won a title. So 1 full year of uninjured AD led to a title. Ever since then, it's been injury. Now I'm starting to wonder, what could AD's career have looked like now without all these injuries?
Dude, and you know what's the scariest part? I just want to key on how you mentioned Derrick Rose. It's Derrick Rose's knees. It's literally head, shoulders, knees, and toes for AD.
Yeah, it's literally every component of your body for AD. It's not just one place.
He's starting to become an operation board.
Yes, he is.
You can
street clothes. He's an operation board.
I don't know how this is going to get better before it gets worse. And if it doesn't get worse, then I think it's just going to flatten out, and that this AD we've seen from this year and the end of last year, that'll be it. I just don't see how he takes it back to the 2019-2020 level.
Yeah, it could be time to move on from this era of the Lakers, the LeBron AD era. It could be.
So wow, we were very down bad.
I don't want an injury prone player like to be the center of my franchise.
There's always a risk when you take on, especially in the sport of basketball, where one guy defines an entire franchise. But yeah,
and going forward, it seems like AD is going to be that guy. Like that is is for AD to be the centerpiece of the Lakers going forward. But if he can't stay healthy if he can only give us 40, 45 games a year, what's the point?
It does feel like that. Obviously, you keep him on because of how great he has been. Because and that's why I say the worst thing you could be is good. Because sometimes when you're not good, everybody will hate you. And that's where we're at. Because we saw how dominant he was 2019, 2020, bubble AD, insane. We all remember the winning shot against the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals.
He was a different level, dude.
Yeah. When will we get that back? When we get that back? Because now let's also rewind it a little. So it's not going to be a return in 4 weeks. It's going to be a reevaluation.
Reevaluation. Huge
difference between those two. And so, I mean, seriously, what if we're looking at it's like January 25th and we're like, oh, wait, is AD going to come back or is that still in the works?
And again, it's like, this is why we acquired Russ, for when a player gets hurt like Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
We need that extra help for LeBron, and they're going to have to step up. It's going to be interesting to see what the team looks like when he gets reevaluated, because I could see them trying to force to rush him back. But if we kind of stay afloat and maybe are few games above 500, keep him rested, like make sure he's healthy. But if we're a few games below 500, hovering on the 8, 9, 10 seed, I could see them trying to rush AD back. So
that'll be great.
That would be really.
You hear the whispering winds of shit.
Yeah.
All right. I want to move on because fear not, Edward. Lakers have signed Isaiah Thomas.
Fear not. More like fear 1 for 11.
Wasn't good. And this is where we're at with Isaiah Thomas. And there's always a couple players like it in all sports where there's like, dude, why is no team signed Todd Frazier? Well, because he sucks. Like that, there's always those guys who are in the midst of between G League or AAA and the pros. And as soon as they can ball out in the minor leagues, but as soon as it gets to the pros, they'll hit 200 or they'll go, like you said, 1 of 11. And every day it's just Isaiah. It's like, it's this weird cycle of go 1 for 11 or average like 3 points or like, I don't know, 7 points a game for a team, get waived, and then tweet a Nipsey Hussle quote the next morning, and then wait for something from Overtime or Bleacher Report to ask why hasn't IT been signed.
Yeah, and get all the tweets from all the players in the league right now, like LeBron or like, AD or someone will tweet like league him, like IT, why is like something's fishy, why is he not in the league? Like
look at the bluefish, yellowfish, fishing
for
bluefish, yellowfish.
And it was frustrating because he played really well in his first game when he started. I believe it was against Minnesota, right? He looked good, and I was like, wow, okay, if IT can be even half of how he played tonight throughout his stint, he could be a valuable asset to bring off the bench. But his days in the league might be numbered. I don't know.
The -26 was brutal. Because, I mean, that's the thing with IT is that, like, why hasn't a team signed him? It's because of his defense. It's really easy to exploit that matchup. And
he's a liability on defense for sure.
So it's also very frustrating because we then have the crowd saying, but he was an all-star in 2017 an all-star in 2016, and he led look how far he got the Celtics. That was 5 years ago. A lot has changed since then.
Yeah.
So much has changed. He did have the energy. He did have the injury. And don't get me wrong, he did get screwed by the Celtics for trading him. That was absolutely fucked. Catastrophe. Should never have happened. But where we stand at in this time, this day of history, IT is not that guy. And I don't know if he makes it out of the 10-day.
No, I don't think he will. Unless he really turns it around in these next couple of games, I don't see him making it past the 10-day.
Yes. So the Lakers do a little schedule talk. So the Lakers' next game is going to be against the Spurs on Friday. After that, they play Brooklyn for Christmas on Christmas Day, Saturday. Then they play the Rockets. So it's only, I think the 10-day might be up by the Rockets game. Either way, he'll have 2 more games to show out. And if he doesn't, I don't know. If he keeps playing the same way he played against the Suns, I don't know how you keep him.
Yeah, they won't. They won't keep him unless he really starts to turn it around. But quick little tangent here. Talk about a game that's kind of lost all hype is I'm not excited for the Christmas Day game. Like COVID has really thrown a wrench in the Christmas Day games.
Yeah, this is, and I say like sometimes it makes the product like this thing. They'll still make money because games are being played, but the product is worse. And as sports go like all around the country right now with like college football, I just saw Texas A&M had a COVID outbreak. So now they're not going to be able. They're going to have to cancel the Gator Bowl. And then we're seeing in the NFL, Garrett Gilbert, who was probably, I don't know, shining shoes last week, is getting starts for the Washington football team. So the product is not the same. And so we might have to go bubble mode. And my last straw with this was Brandon Knight just got signed.
I saw a tweet that was like Dirk, JJ Redick, and like a bunch of these guys are going to have to come out of retirement.
Yeah.
I think like StatMuse tweeted it. I think.
Yeah. I think I saw Vince Carter was on there as well.
Yeah. Vince Carter was on there, but I mean, and the NHL just paused its season. So like, and they said no NHL players are allowed to play in the Olympics in a few weeks when that starts. So it's like, are we heading there with the NBA as well? Like, I think we might be.
But if not, then we're going to have strict protocols to where everybody is just going to have to wear like an ankle monitor again. And just be put on hotel arrest.
JaVale McGee's bubble vlogs are going to be back just for a different team.
It does feel like that. And that's the thing. Obviously, like we know Omicron. I mean, it's a super team. Let's be honest. It's a super team. It's the best show.
I saw a tweet that was like, all this just to beat LeBron, talking about the variants and stuff.
Yeah, just another Omicron Roman in Florida that has built a super team and ruined the NBA.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just how it feels, because it's like, okay, I don't want to watch Kessler Edwards go against IT on Christmas Day. I want to watch KD go head to head with Braun and watch him rip our hearts out. I'd rather have that than Kessler Edwards play against, I don't know, like Avery Bradley. Actually, he's in COVID. I can't even name players on Lakers.
We're not even gonna get to see AB.
Yeah. Well, which one?
Avery Bradley.
Oh, the real vaccination card.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes.
I see. Yeah, it's running rampant, and now it's ruining the product. You can't. I'm sorry, you're lying if you say you would rather watch this. You have to be a lunatic. I don't know. It's like 3 lobotomies deep.
Yeah, it's just really no fun. But really funny, the whole Kyrie Irving thing, how literally as soon as he says he's going away games, he goes into COVID health and safety protocol of a positive test. So it's like he stepped outside of his house for 5 minutes and look what happened. And now he probably won't be there for the Christmas game either. So
nice one, NBA. He had one job, put players on the court. And
Can't
also,
even
but
do that.
also it's like now it pisses me off when players go out. I don't care where you stand on the virus, but when you see the way the state of things are right now, if you see a player going out to a club, it's kind of a big fuck you. Like Dwight posted a flyer on his Instagram story for a club in LA. What are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Because now you're hurting, like you're officially hurting your team. I don't care what you do in a non-COVID scenario as far as going out, as long as you're putting up numbers, but you could put up the same numbers as you would. But because of COVID and putting your team at risk, now it's like, yeah, stop going out.
Yeah. And Lonzo had a good quote. Yeah. So he was one of the few Bulls players, I believe the only starter that didn't get COVID. And he said in an interview, he said, I mean, I don't really do much. I just play and go home. Why can't the rest of the NBA be like that? Like, just play your game and go home. You have to understand that there's a virus out there that is like trying to shut on your league basically right now.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Now I understand NBA players want to enjoy the fruits of their labor, but I don't know, you get paid millions of dollars. It's hard to have a little bit of empathy that you don't want to go out to a club.
Yeah, I think your multi-million-dollar mansion will suffice.
Mm-hmm. You literally can afford Uber Eats in as much in like literally every streaming service in the world. I have a hard time empathizing with players as far as not going out for play. If it's being affected because you guys aren't able to practice, then I understand. But as far as not going out, oh fuck you.
Yeah, no sympathy there.
None. It's like, yeah, THT. I understand that COVID is throwing your game off. That sucks. I mean, I think you are getting the short end of the deal right now. But as far as if he started going out clubbing again, fuck you, dude.
Yeah. Gotta know better.
Yeah. All right. You have anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, cool. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to that episode of OK Takes. I believe it's episode 63.
Yep.
Call it 63. All right. If you would like to follow myself on social media, you can find me at MattWarner20, Instagram, Twitter. If you'd like to follow Edward on his Instagram and Twitter, you can find him at Edward_Vento. And if you would like to follow the podcast to keep up with all of our awful takes, if you want to hear them once again, or if you're not able to catch episodes, find us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and also our YouTube channel as well. OK Takes Pod. That is OKAY Takes Pod. OKAY Takes Pod. Takes 2 seconds and will help us tremendously. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and have a wonderful day.